All right, so there's pretty interesting stuff going on with the Zendaya film coming out. Shit, turns out there's like a spicy scene in there where she's making out and then maybe something extra to guys. Yeah, if you're me, you're like, yeah, she's acting. It's not the girl. It's this and that. But quite a lot of people are taking it in a different way, and I'm sure it's the internet. Everybody's trying to make a meme out of something. So I'm sure they're just trying to make fun of Tom Holland, which he's used to, or maybe not because he deleted his account. Not sure if I don't know what's up with that, but he's off media as far as I know. He's not really on it as you would expect these new world celebrities to be on it. He's not really on that shit like that. Tom Holland and Zendaya fiasco is interesting because what am I trying to say here? My initial thought is that she's an actress. She's doing her job. It's not serious. You guys give it a rest. Give it a rest. Jesus Christ. Give it a rest. Just let it be. Let the girl do her job and quit being dicks about it. And on the other hand, there's been so many successful relationships that began from set. I think of what's his name? What's his name? The Wolverine guy, Hugh Jackman, right? Hugh Jackman met his wife on set, as far as I know it, and they've been pretty good together. It is possible that you can get connected. I mean, you can establish a connection with somebody you meet on set. It happens quite often, in fact. Uh, hmm, the reason why it is no longer common is simply because of the new gap that the technology provides, right? The idea that everybody's glued to their devices, so you don't really have time to connect with the people outside the work you do. You go to set, you do your scenes, hey, maybe you kiss somebody, you show her some, if and then that's it. That's the job. And do I need that? No. That's the job. And then you move on. But back in the day, and on a Nolan set, so I hear, you've got to yeah, I feel like shit. I need a better PC. Anyway, back in the day when devices weren't too much, yeah, I don't know exactly. I don't want to be one of those guys who's like, oh, the technology is taken away from us. I think it's giving us. I just think uh, there's a bit of a gluttonous urge in us in the way we take things, and that's what leads to these things. I'm not against like TikTok and whatever. I think everything could be used for good and bad, pretty much. But that's just That's just the ramblings of a humble boy. So you don't take those seriously now. You don't. You okay? Back to the subject. It is possible for people to fall in love on set, and um, being close to someone for a long time. Where the hell am I going? Being close to someone for a prolonged time could induce this. Uh, but I will add that I do not think it is possible for Zendaya to. I mean, it is not possible for somebody to simply fall out of love with somebody else because their job requires them to do certain things that's you know weird when you're really talking about being in a relationship with someone like look it's like actors when actors kiss on screen the important thing to understand is that there's like close to 100 people watching them do it. It's not just look at these two people they're making. No, that you being able to see that shows. I mean, just goes to show how many people were present in making sure that you see what you're seeing. Where the hell am I going? So there's a lot of work that goes into bringing a film to life, and I think successful connections are established in. I have no idea where I'm going. I should probably open the map, but no, I don't need the map. I have. badge. I think I don't need the map. I know exactly where I'm going. I just wanted to go down this because anyway. I think meaningful connections are established, um, not necessarily just by being in close proximity with somebody, or you know, Pete Davidson could make you believe so. But the idea is that you've got to have access to the people, and you've got to find the time to connect with these people intimately. So you've got to find some private time away from everybody else. You've got to find time to allow these people to let their guards down. And actors do not do that on screen, no matter what kind of scene they're doing, be it like a full on nude scene, everything's out, or like just a simple, really, really long makeout scene. There is no real effect in those because there is no privacy. There is no real intimacy in that. So give it a break. Nobody's gonna fall in love with nobody. I could be reading this wrong. Maybe people just like I said. I think people are just using this as a meme. But I'm just trying to have the discussion around. I'm just trying to use this moment to have the discussion around intimacy in films and how it is portrayed. Right. So many people. I think I've heard people drop a film because it had nudity in it. I was like, there was so many naked girls in this one. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't focus. Or like everything was a sex scene. It was like a sex scene every other 5 minutes. I just could not do this every other 5 minutes. You're probably on the wrong website if that's the case. Anyway, uh, so intimacy in films, is it necessary? Should we have that? This is not the video in which I talk about intimacy in films. I'm going to make that. I just wanted to, you know, this is more like, well, what do you call it? I don't know what you call it. It's not exactly brainstorming. I'm trying to come up with ideas, but I'm just trying to offload the thoughts that have been in my head going round and round and round and round and round and round. I'm trying to unload most of those thoughts. And here it is. Okay. I think intimacy is achieved over a pretty long period of time. Successful intimacy, that is. Um, and there are ways to show this. There are ways in which you can figure out, these people are really close. You could look at the way they behave, and you go, they're probably, they're probably really, really, really close to each other. They do things like this, it's probably this girl, it's probably this dude like that. And unless you're trying to make a like 16-hour or 14-hour long film, go ahead and ask Jodorowsky how that went. Not very good. I'll let you know. You have to cut down the time, right? And as much as an action movie doesn't exactly show you, there's a lot that goes into into a shootout. There's quite a lot that goes out into a shootout. The guns, dressing up, the right clothing, putting this there and this and that. But you just see a guy tuck a blade in his shoe, you know, grab a few magazines and he's off. He's like, I'm gonna shoot people. And, it's so good. There's so much work that goes into that, and it's boring to watch. So they cut that. Same with romance. There's so much that goes into romance. Much more, I would say, that they have to cut it out. And we cannot show you the number of days it took for them to fall in love, but we can show you the positions they hold in each other's lives. How? How much access they have to each other's bodies and spaces, I think, is a good one. So a simple kiss is a really, really good tell about how close somebody might be to somebody, right? Uh, and I think it's necessary. I think nudity is necessary as well because I use this framework. Um, think of Try to think of the most repulsive thing that could happen to you, like just the worst. Like if it happened to you, like, oh god, this is just the worst. This is so bad. Somebody help me get out of this. Something like that. Try to think of the worst thing that can happen to you. And you will always come down to the realization that the most despicable acts, like the most repulsive things that could happen to you, happen to be the most romantic things when you allow access. When you give it. Now, obviously, I don't mean everything, but probably everything as well. Because if we do start to look in the lines of kinks, it does kind of have the grounds to be everything. But we're not going to talk about kinks. I'm just trying to say, uh, like having somebody see your birthday suit, like especially. I don't want to say the word because I think it's a pretty big deal or something like that. But let's say I'm just gonna say allowing somebody to see your birthday suit. If somebody forced that on you, right, you're getting abused. That's abusive, and you get scarred pretty bad. So bad that it affects the way you show intimacy. It will affect so much of who you are. But when you like somebody and you just allow them that access to you, it is the most romantic thing. Everything they do, if they're doing it right, you're like, oh God, look at you, good, good. There's that, and that is where film becomes necessary. I mean, that is where nudity in film becomes necessary because we're trying to let you know the level of intimacy these people have. And in the new Dune film, I was pretty disappointed to see that there was something of a sex scene between Chani and Paul Atreides. I was like, what are you doing banging out in the desert? That's what? Anyway, but that's what led me down this hole. That's what led me down this thought. And I think it's pretty solid, I think. Because what the film was trying to show is basically the level of access that Chani was giving to Paul, right? Like how close they had become. And she was giving him access to that much of herself, which just goes to show the amount of trust she had in the boy. She loved the boy pretty quickly, right? And there's another discussion about how quickly people tend to fall in love in American films. If you do watch, what is this thing called? Did I just go in a circle? Did I just go in a circle? Anyway, uh, that's what's up. Did I? Anyway, so if you do watch Asian series, any slice of life romance, there's a strong chance you did not see any any of the protagonists actually do the kissing, which did I just go in a circle? There's a strong chance you did not see any of that. So this varies across cultures. What I'm seeing right here is, hmm, that's so interesting. I'm out again. What the hell? Why is it doing that? Okay. Anyway, uh, I'm so confused. So right, intimacy can be shown in films much quicker. Like we can let you know the position the characters hold in one another's lives just by how much of their body they're willing to show to the other. And I do think sex scenes are necessary in film. I think they do help make films much shorter. And I understand that it varies across cultures. There's probably a different way to show it if you're Asian. Uh, right, like because most of the stuff I do watch in these things, the slice of life anime that is, they tend not to focus so much on how much kissing is there, this and that. They do have different ways of showing how these characters do establish most of their connections. And theirs is also pretty sweet. It's in the time spent, I think. Uh, but it's different. When you're watching a slice of life, you're pretty much watching that, a slice of their lives. But if you're watching a story, right, something like Dune with a plot that needs to unfold, we cannot exactly take so much time away to to show you these fractions of their lives where they connect over days, months. Oh, look at this, look here. He made this joke on a Wednesday. She laughed, and she was so happy. But no, we don't have that time, and so we strip them. We take their clothes off, and that I think shows the confidence they have in one another, the ability they have to be themselves at their most vulnerable selves. That's what's up, and I think that's pretty awesome. Uh, Well, it is true that certain pictures overdo this. They overuse this. They just do a little too much, and it becomes, something a little north of entertaining. It becomes a little, not exactly what you were looking for. And I get that. Uh, certain people do be doing that. Where am I on? Right? Yeah. All right. That's it, man. That's all I was gonna say for six in films.